What is going on, What is up? What is up? Welcome back to my favorite show. I know it's been a long time since we've been on. December was a super packed month. All the holidays fell on Fridays, the nights we were doing the shows. So we had to skip a bunch because we know everybody wanted to celebrate and be out with their fam. So we get it. It is 2022, the first show of 2022, and we are back. My girl Max is, she's over there. She's got her camera off.
Hey. I'm trying to find the YouTube. Oh, there it is. Found it.
There we go. So thank you guys for joining. I know that there might not be too many viewers tonight. We shall see. Because, like I said, we've been kind of on a hiatus, right?
Yeah, we have the holidays and the new year and sick kids and I didn't, but
all kinds of craziness. Yeah, all kinds of craziness. Leave It to Comics is in the house. What is up, Leave It to Comics? What is going on? So tonight we are just talking about the different selling platforms. We'll go into some other stuff, but let's see if we can get some more viewers in here. What's up, Alexander? What's up, Alex? You guys share this out. Let's get some people in here because we want to talk about the selling platforms, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be our main focus for tonight. Oh, is it snowy there? I heard it was snowy from Patrick. Leave It to Comics. Kevin.
I don't know. I'm hearing that we're supposed to get snow this weekend too. That's what I heard. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm over it, but what can we do? Yeah. Get your snow shovels out.
I don't have to do with that anymore, so.
Yeah, I know. See, I don't mind it, except for when you live in a state that hardly ever gets snow. They don't know how to act.
Yeah, that's the only downside. But even in Nebraska, like people look for snow, it's like they forgot last year existed. So
right. What's up, Wayne? What is up? We're just letting the chat build up a little bit before we get into topic because we got some cool, fun stuff to talk about. So I hope everybody has had a great first 2 weeks of 2022. Like I said, this is the first My Favorite Show of 2022. Amber and Max are back. We ain't leaving you guys again until next December.
Yeah, hopefully. All things considered, hopefully we will be able to do 52 shows a year. It's just 52 weeks, right?
Yeah, there is.
Well, 50. We'll average around 50.
Because we skipped the first week of this month already, so we're at 51, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we skipped.
All right, guys, make sure you thumbs up. Go out and share it out to your peoples. Our main topic for the night is the different selling platforms or buying platforms to buy comics, right? So I think the biggest three when it comes to a social media presence is YouTube, Instagram, and whatnot. Is there any more that I'm missing?
Like Mercari and eBay, but that's not live.
Like social, yeah. I haven't got onto Mercari much. I took all my stuff off of eBay because I was tired of the fees.
Yeah. I've been using eBay to sell my like Game Boy games and consoles, and that's been going pretty good so far.
Facebook.
I don't trust Facebook. It's like worse than Craigslist if you're talking about the marketplace.
Facebook kind of reminds me of Craigslist, yeah.
Yeah.
Selling stuff. I've been burned so many times on there. But you guys all know we sell on YouTube. And now we're selling on Whatnot. So if you are not over on Whatnot, you're missing out. You don't have to be a seller. And I think that's where a lot of the confusion comes from is people think that they have to get approved just to get a Whatnot, to get on Whatnot, just to buy, right?
Yeah. You can go on. I've gotten so many good steals on Whatnot. Yeah, if you have questions on how we'll probably go over how it works, and it is the pros and cons of it and all. So
what's your favorite platform right now, Max?
Whatnot for sure. Definitely Whatnot. YouTube, if you think about it, I love it because I get to interact with the chat and my fellow sellers who are my friends, and we all get to support each other. So there's pros. Cons, I would say, is that you have to wait an hour on average, 45 minutes to an hour for one turn, and you have your fingers crossed and hope for the best, Whereas Whatnot, it's rapid fire. It's all you. You can log things in to your what would you call that? The listings, so that people can look at it.
I call it the shopping tab.
Can you put up that Moon Knight for me? And then and you can do that for them. You could take requests if you have them logged and stuff. And even if you don't, people might be like, hey, does anyone have this particular book? And you'd be like, yeah, I might. And you can run and check it or something and be like, yeah, give me a second, I'll grab it. Yeah, it's hard to get approved. I did, Kevin, for you and Amy, I did do a referral, and I'm still waiting to hear back from Chancellor on that. And we need to talk to him too about some bugs and issues that we had in the past. There's also a rating system, and you're held accountable. So sellers can't sell on the platform because they would have to have proof of the shipping. Like you are required to ship within 2 or 3 days. So it can be it's a yin yang situation, because it's hard, because what if someone wants to build a box? We can build a box for you on YouTube, and you can take your time filling it up till you're ready. The downside, that's a downside. But the good part is that you will get your books one way or another.
Right. Yes, sellers are required to ship within 48 hours on the standard weekday. So if you're selling on a Tuesday, they want your books out by Thursday.
Yeah.
What about Pop Shop Live? I don't know what's Pop Shop
Live. I've seen it. I've downloaded it. It's similar. I think it's similar anyways. I think, let me see if I still have it on my phone. Yeah, I do. It's kind of like that, but I don't know how popular it is with comics. I haven't dipped into it yet, but it seems to be very similar to Whatnot.
Gotcha.
It's not loading for me, but yeah, it just looks
there's some people that are on an app called DRIP, but they haven't quite added comics. It's like cards and stuff like that.
Yeah, so this looks exactly like Whatnot, this Pop Shop Live. Amber, you want to drop your Whatnot link?
Oh, I just did it. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. So.
Yep.
As buyers, what do you guys prefer? YouTube or Whatnot? Or Pop Shop? Yeah, I know Shelby does, and I know Random is KTV does.
Pop Shop, is it strictly Pops? Because that's what it sounds like.
I think that might be how it started, but I think it just means pop-up shop, maybe.
Okay.
But it looks almost identical to Whatnot. You see, these are all the lives, and it just looks almost exactly the same as Whatnot, and you can discover people and stuff. Yeah, it's more Pokemon. I'm not seeing very many comics. It's like Pokemon, Squishmallows, and stuff like that. Collectibles. It seems like if Whatnot had a baby with Etsy and had a Pokemon fetish, it looks like.
So is it a bidding platform? You bid?
I think so. Yes. Let's see. I'm clicking on a random live. Yeah, it looks almost identical.
So you just got to bid as they go. Okay.
What's the state?
That's what I like. Honestly, that's what I like. It's, to me, Whatnot kind of reminds me of eBay in live, in a live platform. Because you're just bidding, but you only got a few minutes, probably 2 or 3 at the max,
Yeah, that's the only downside. So as a buyer, you might like it because you have the variety. You don't have to click out of a show into another show. Like on Whatnot, if you're like, okay, I'm looking for Marvel right now. This person has DC up, so I'm going to bounce and I'll check back in. And it's just people bounce all around to different shows all the time. Whereas on YouTube, you get me, and you get indies, and you get Sans, you get some Marvel, and then you get Papa Willie and DC, you know, like there's a variety because we are a variety of collectors, which means we're a variety of sellers, and it's all there in one little package for you. However, it's just not quite as efficient for us sellers, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's fun because we get to hang out with more people. Right. And talk to them instead of just talking to the chat or ourselves on whatnot, and which can make you feel awkward sometimes. Did my first few times. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to say right now.
I got over that.
You get over it pretty quick. And it helps because I, like in my situation, I have Remy and we're helping each other, so I can just make jokes to him, and people tend to enjoy the mild sense of humor we have.
Yeah. So with these new platforms, has anybody ever wondered what that's going to do to like the Instagram lives, the YouTube lives, the Facebook live sales? Have you ever wondered what that's going to do to like those kind of selling platforms?
Well, I've actually gone down to just one show on YouTube a week as of right now.
Really? We're just on Tuesdays.
Yes. That's how much I love you, babe.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, if you need to ever give up my spot, I would never, like, if you want to get someone else on the panel, I know we get full because it's a very popular show to be on. So I'm cool with taking every other week or whatever, or I'll be there every Tuesday if you want. I don't mind giving up a spot so the Freeze Bros or AMKM could join or something like that. I'd say go for it, but until then, yeah, you're my 1 week YouTube auction. And then my other thing that's not an auction is right here, my favorite show.
Yeah. And that's what we love to do this. You know, it's different. We're not selling anything. We're just sitting here chopping it up with you guys, even if it's just 45 minutes to an hour. Sometimes it runs longer, whatever. We love it. So you know what? I agree with you. Leave it to comics. I think that all platforms are holding up because I think variety is nice. I think people like different variety. For me personally, when I'm on Whatnot, I am. If somebody puts up a book I don't want, I leave that show and I go look at others, and then I come back. And I'll look at people's shopping tabs and be like, they don't have anything I quite want tonight. I'm going to go ahead and come back. Or, just that. But YouTube auctions, you kind of never know what you're going to get. And it's always fun because there's a panel of 5, 6, 7 of us, and we're just chopping it up for the night.
Yeah. Personalities are already pretty important, if you ask me. Like, is if there's a seller that's gonna flex or get offended or gets angry because it's just too much, or like, stop asking me, I'll get to it when I get to it. Like, you have people like that, and that immediate turn off. Like, I don't want to do business with somebody who has the choice to be kind or aggressive and actively chooses to be aggressive. Okay, I can understand if you get like a little flustered and you're like, guys, please just hang on. I'm getting there. I'm sorry. Like, okay, yeah, you got a little flustered. But if you're like being a dick about it, which I have seen on both platforms, both YouTube and Whatnot before, I'm like, whoa, damn, bro. Like, you really don't want to sell these books, huh? Like, because personality makes a world of difference. And I did ask a question in the chat if Amber wants to pull it up about
here's a good question. Do you guys feel safer buying from YouTube sellers or Whatnot? Answer for us. What do you guys feel safer doing? YouTube or Whatnot? Or you can say either or both, whatever.
Or both. Or as long as it's not eBay or Mercari. But yeah. Oh, yeah, influencer types. That makes sense.
I think it depends on the reputation. Got you.
Yep, that too. Well, there is a member of the community who had issues with, like, major issues to the point of being called out publicly about shipping books to the buyers after holding for so long and still not shipping and still not shipping and still just excuse after excuse after excuse. Now, that seller's on Whatnot. How do you think that's going, like, how's that going to work out? Do you think they're still going to do, because they have to ship within 48 hours.
Right. Well, they have to ship, or they get the strikes. Once they get so many strikes, they're out, right? So the only accountability, I guess the difference is the accountability between YouTube and whatnot. That is the difference, you know. It's Cool Comics says YouTube auctions got him through the COVID months.
Yeah.
But I think the pace of them needs to pick up a little bit. You know what? I agree with you.
That's super true. YouTube was definitely something that contributed to us building as a community and having a solid foundation. That's for sure.
I think that sometimes you see too many panel members, right? And it just seems extremely slow, or, you know, that could be a situation. Nathan says that he prefers Whatnot, actually. Only did it for a couple nights and got everything shipped the next day. Yes. Because here's the thing about Whatnot. Not for everybody anymore, but for certain sellers that haven't hit a certain threshold, they were not getting paid until you guys got your books.
Yeah, so it had to be shown as delivered and received and all of that.
Yeah, so Whatnot is very particular about their standards, which, you know, can be nice, you know, until they vet somebody and they're like, okay, you're good now. We got you.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, we can see this person has a good track record. We're going to let you get early payout option. And to me, it doesn't really matter either way. Like, I can understand how it would be very important.
Last night was my first like instant payout. And I was like, heck yeah. Yeah. I know, right? Dabs up. Yep. All right.
So Megan B said something I really like. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just going down the comments. Leave It to Comics said, Whatnot would be safer for casual buyers. YouTube is all about who you know. Yeah, I agree with you on that for sure. Wayne is talking about he's enjoying both. Facebook groups are good too. I don't know that I'll ever get into the Facebook groups. Not for comics. I don't think I would.
Music.
Yeah. Megan says, I think it depends on the reputation. My thoughts go to which platform has the most buyer protection. And that is very true.
This is one I want to touch on, actually.
Currently, Whatnot is the only platform between YouTube and Whatnot, between those two, that has buyer protection, right?
Yes.
Because you do have a lot of YouTube auctions that, unless you're paying PayPal goods and services, there isn't any protection. So it is about who you know and who you trust.
So, and that's one other thing I wanted to bring up was insurance, Whatnot. So say I pack something, I just throw your books in an envelope and say, oh, I shipped it. Give me my money. It gets delivered to you. I get my money. If you books are totally fucked up, you know who you complain to Whatnot and you get refunded. And I can continue doing my business, packing stuff like garbage. Like we've gotten cardboard tacos of stuff, like just like big books that we spent like money on, like on Whatnot. Yes, because people will just take a random piece of cardboard, slap it there, have the books all facing the wrong ways and stuff, and like bags are maybe there or maybe they're sealed or just raunchy, and it's just chucked in, and it's just hideous and scary, like eBay level shit you would expect from eBay. And because they cover the insurance, Whatnot covers the insurance, Whatnot covers the refunds and everything. And it's like, that's something that they need to change. They need to hold. I was tolling last night all night long. If anyone has an issue with any of our books or anything, hit us up first, because we're going to take better care of you than Whatnot will, because Whatnot's just gonna be like, here's your money back. Well, you wouldn't have given the money in the first place if you would have preferred to have the money over the books. And now you received this book that looked like it was a 9.0, and then they shipped it like shit, and now it's a mid-grade book. Like, where's the accountability for this?
I disagree with that, because I think that is a high level of accountability. Is that when you can reach out to that platform and say, hey, I bought some books from XYZ and they came really bad, and Whatnot says, okay, here's your money back. They take that money from the seller. And you are now responsible for reimbursing the seller. And the seller gets to keep that book. They're not required to send it back. Now you get a strike, as the seller, right? And once you get so many strikes, you can't sell anymore. So that's a huge level of accountability that I think some other platforms just don't have. But like, eBay doesn't have that. eBay doesn't have that at all. You know?
Some people, though, that keep shipping awful. And it's like, wow, we're not going to buy from you anymore. Like, your shipping is terrible. There's no way to message. Like, if there was some way to message sellers and, like, back and forth in the app, that would be super awesome. Like, if they added just, like, the ability to communicate.
I think you can now. I think you can. I think you can. I think I saw somewhere where you can contact a seller with this new update.
That's good. I hope so, because that would mean they're learning. But it's just that so many people are like, yeah, insurance is covered though. Like, if you buy a book from me and it turns out that the postage costs more than what you were charged, they eat that shipping. They cover the insurance. So if I pack something really well for you and I ship it, but it gets totally obliterated by USPS or whatever, they cover that insurance. That money doesn't come out of my thing, my profits or whatever you paid me, that goes back on whatnot. So if I ship stuff like crap and I could just say, oh, well, it must have been damaged by USPS, so then they wouldn't be able to touch my money and they'd have to cover it themselves. So I'm hoping that they learn from that, and be like, y'all better pack secure, and use new rules or regulations or something that just holds both accountable. Without gouging whatnot as a group.
Anytime you buy something from anybody online, there's a little bit of a risk. So you just have to trust the person. And I think that no matter if you're buying on Whatnot or YouTube or eBay or Instagram, most of the time people are going to buy from who they know and trust. It doesn't matter if there's an accountability or insurance. They're going to buy from who they know and trust. And I think the difference between the two is most of the time people that are on Whatnot are there to buy, right? They're there they're looking for, books to add to their PC, fill in holes, get some good deals, whatever it is. YouTube is a mix. YouTube is family hanging out with family, friends hanging out with friends, and maybe something pops up that they want. But, you'll get people that will hang out for the 5 hours just to hang out with their buds. You know what I mean?
Connect.
That's the difference. That's the difference. And I think that's what sets the two apart is you can't, I would never give up one completely for the other. It would always, it's always going to be both. Yep. Tita's on Whatnot tonight. I thought it was supposed to be like right now.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I posted it on my page. I thought it said 9. I know it's 9 your time, but yeah, at 9. So he's got an hour and a half before he goes live.
Oh.
He's in Cali.
Gotcha. Oh, he's Pacific Standard Time. All right. Let's see what Titan says, kind of. Yeah, and that makes sense. Is time is money, right? Your time is precious. And sometimes it is harder to watch a 5-hour auction not knowing what's going to go up. Or I have found it beneficial. When I first started doing Whatnot, I didn't list any of my books. I just put like lot A, or lot 1, and then I would put 50 of them, and so it would say like lot 1 through 50. But that's also harder to keep track of because then you got to post-it notes ready and make sure they don't fall off and this and that. I have found it super beneficial to list the books that you're going to sell. I know some people don't because they want to catch people off guard, kind of, right? Like it gives the buyer less time to decide what the value of the book is. But it's also going to ensure that the right people are watching your shows if you're listing your books, because they're the ones that are going to be wanting those books. Now, some shows I might have 5 to 10 like just unknown books listed because somebody might ask for something. in the show. And so you just kind of put like a place mark there so you could throw something up. I've done that, but yeah, you didn't list your books like Tate says it. You didn't list your books, and it was a nightmare because you're literally going lot 1 and you're putting sticky notes lot 2, lot 3, lot 4, and then you're like, oh crap! I hope did that sticky note just fall off? I hope I got it right. I hope I didn't mess it up. And it's super important to list the grades because that helps you out as the seller as well. When you throw up a book and you're going, this is a near mint 1981, here's the artist, newsstand. So you're not having to, remember those things. It's just all listed right there. It helps you sell it better. I think it's organizational.
I do a mix. Like I will, if I know there's some books that I'm going to be putting up that night, I will list them very specifically, exactly what they are, grade, condition, the whole 9 yards. But then I'll also add like Marvel lot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, indie lot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's still that mystery there. And there's like, oh, something else popped up. Or if someone makes a request for a certain book that I don't have listed, I can go grab it, even if I wasn't planning to sell it. And I can just tap on one of those that I already have preloaded that says it's a Marvel lot. And you can even edit it. And usually I just in the description put what the title is so that they know.
Right.
Good success on IG. That's good.
Yeah, I've joined some of Spade's Channel 1A7's Instagrams. That's the one thing I haven't done is an Instagram live sale. I've never done one. I don't know. I guess I just bless you.
I was about to sneeze. You were right.
Right? So I guess it's just something that I haven't tried with all the different platforms. It's just something that I really haven't, dove into. But I know some people have great success with them. Remy says, for my vintage books, I absolutely have to list detailed grades for each book since unlike YouTube, there is no archive show to go back and reference. And that is another thing. That is a great point there. Thank you for bringing that up is when we have a YouTube show, it's saved, right? YouTube, you can go back, you can look at it. If there's any discrepancy or you forgot maybe what the bid ended at and you didn't write it down in your notebook or whatever, you can always go back and watch. With Whatnot, once the show's done, it's gone. It's not saved anywhere. You can't go back and reference it.
They can. The official people can go back and reference it.
But not you as the seller.
No sellers, no customers, nobody.
As the buyer, you can't go back and reference that. So that is another reason that it is super important to list everything that you have so that when you go back and you see a book you sold, let's say.
All right. What's up, Greg? It's me, Danny.
What the fuck? Sorry.
You go back and you see something that you sold or whatever, you can go back and reference it and put, hey, this is what I had it listed. Or if there's any kind of discrepancy, like this was super low grade. I thought this was this, and you're like, no, I had it listed at a 4.0 and whatever. There's always that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think as far as so I think we've come to the conclusion that YouTube is really great when you are all about hanging out with friends, being a part of the community, which you do need a balance of. But when you're really trying to push some books so that you can afford whatever you need to afford in your life, like I feel like Whatnot's probably better. Like if you got bills to pay, you got to keep the electric on, you're trying to, or if you have goals that you want to achieve, like we want to open our own LCS before the end of this year, before the end of 2022. Then we have goals, we have money goals, financial things that we need to do. So having a balance between community. And the good thing is like on Whatnot, you can connect with more people and then they can connect with you on Instagram too. And then they might find these shows that you do on YouTube and they'll do both. Then we'll convert them partially so that they're using both Whatnot and YouTube. And kind of part of this is us converting you guys into, hey, Whatnot's not so bad. Maybe check it out sometime. Check us out. If you want to see just one of the sellers,
you guys,
rapid fire. If you really love Sam's books, and you want to go follow him over there, if you really love Amber's or my books, you can follow us there. And then it's a show of just that one person.
I'm going to post my whatnot in the chat again.
Same.
Max, you do the same, because I know that there is a lot of people that that aren't on there still. And, you know, just to hang out and kind of see. I guarantee you it is completely free to sign up. Just either way, whether you are buying or selling. Selling takes a while. The app is free. It's not free to buy. But it's free to hang out in the shows and just see how they work. It's a super dope platform. Right now, I think that there are more sellers than buyers. It's a little bit harder for the sellers. It's an amazing platform. Super dope that I found it. I'm super excited. I think it's super cool and super easy to use. I mean, it is like, they have their glitches. They've only been live for like a year. It's been probably about a year and a few months now. So there are a few glitches, right? Like there'll be updates but they get it fixed. Like there's never been an issue that's gone days without getting fixed. It's usually fixed within a few hours. You know what I mean? So
another cool part is like, I don't have to hunt anyone down for payment.
That's what I love. Or address. Oh my God.
Your address, shipping info.
Tell me how often we're like, do you know this person? Do you have their address? How do I get a hold of them?
Do you know this is person's Instagram? Oh, they only use email. Do you have their email? Like, or like, and there's some guy from Israel that bought from us. Somebody from across the world bought from us on Whatnot. I didn't have to deal with that shit.
You don't have to deal with
the label. Whatnot is the payment.
Whatnot gives you the labels. They send you the labels, so you just have to print them. Yeah. So it's super dope, you guys. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. So the percentage varies a little bit. It goes, it's about 9 to 13% depending on how much you sell the book at. If you sell a book at $1, it's going to be the 13%. If you sell it higher, the percent is lower.
Really? So that's good to know.
Yeah, there's a variance in between it. But I don't really mind at all, to be honest with you. Oh, get him out of here. Get this chicken neck. I'm not going to say all the words. Sorry, Keith. I had to laugh at that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Those fees, I don't really mind, because I mean, hey, they provide us with the platform to sell. So they're making some money at it. You know it. They've got to make their money too. Like, I've met a lot of people through Whatnot that I would have never met ever. Because the cool thing is you do not have to be following somebody to see their live. You know, like, you know, if you're subscribed to me on YouTube, you're going to see it. But if you're not subscribed to me on YouTube, you're never going to see my video. That's not the case on Whatnot. It'll show you, once you say, I like to collect comics, it'll show you every comic show that's live.
So, yeah, you can select which categories you want to follow. So here, I just pulled it up so that I could show all the categories. We got Pokemon, comic books, Funko Pop, sports cards, sneakers, MetaZoo, whatever that is, action figures, retro games, baseball, soccer, vinyl records, vintage clothing, Yu-Gi-Oh cards, manga, magic cards, some German thing I don't know how to pronounce, designer toys, die-cast cars, coins and money, streetwear, Digimon cards, sports memorabilia, Funko Soda, Marvel cards, Let Go, My Hero Academia.
There's a lot, you guys. There's a lot.
Cards, Fig Pin, designer bags, UFC, and NFTs now. And then there's always the other NFTs.
They just added NFTs. Gosh. They're continuing to add, you guys. Yes. So, yep. All right, Tate. Good luck on your show, you guys. After this, make sure you go check out Tate. He is going to be on in an hour and 23 minutes, right?
Yeah.
On Whatnot. So hit him up there. Yeah. For sure. All right.
My comic shop. What? Oh, that's a great place to go to buy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Or Comic Link. Yep. All right. Please hey, if you buy NFTs, more power to you. It's not my thing. I like something.
I want to make some. That's
I
for
want
sure.
something that I can like physically have, but
Make some art and sell it, right? Why not try it? If you can do
That's
art,
right.
do it.
So I saw some questions about talking about CBCS versus CGC. Again, I think that is the thorn in yeah. Okay. So Max wanted to talk about this this was her thing she wanted to talk about tonight. So Max.
Okay.
What's your
Well,
thoughts?
I used to be all CBCS, no CGC, but then the whole thing with getting my art certified. So like I was sending out CBCS gold, like COAs with every piece of art that I do so that people could send it in and get it graded and slabbed. Well, I sent a piece in with one of those same things, which I have done in the past back when I was in Nebraska, and I got a 9.8. So it was graded and it was gold label, on a blank cover that I did. And then I sent one in of Stray Dogs one that I did. And it didn't get graded, even though I paid for grading. It just said art. And they labeled it wrong. It's Stray Dogs second print #1 blank. They put it down as Stray Dogs #1 second print Bram Stoker's Dracula homage, which clearly isn't a blank. So
Right.
how can you put, instead of a grade, you put the art and then you put the title? I was just like, how dumb is this? How the fuck do you fuck that up? How do you fuck that up? Tell me. Somebody help me. And like by the time they replied to all my messages, I was already CGC certified as an artist. That just blew my mind. I was like, and then I was like trying to get them, and they're like, well, we could give you an artist account, but then we usually reserve that for people who are regularly doing art full time or already have published works. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? I was like, you know what? Forget about it. I'll wait till I'm published because I know that's coming up soon. I have some people. We're working on getting our own exclusives for covers and stuff. So I'll just wait. And the only reason that I would want to be CBCS certified and recognized is for those that buy the books and want, to submit to CBCS over CGC. But as of right now, CBCS is dead to me. CGC, I have not yet sent in my own books to them. So I'm going to experience there and see how it goes. I'll let you guys know.
I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go to Instagram, okay?
Yes. Show
and let's see if you can see this. Okay.
Oh my God.
So let's make this solo. This is Nola, okay? So Nola Comics. We are going to look at his video. So he sent in a book to get slabbed. It was graded in
9.8 too.
Yeah, we know this guy. Nola, tell them what the book is. Type it in the chat. It was Gambit, right?
The gold print, the super rare.
You see this up here? So
it's a 9.8, which means they did that damage after grading it. So they graded it as a 9.8, and when it came to time to put it in the case, they fucked it. And instead of being like, shit, we better handle this, they're just like, oh, I'm sure nobody will notice. It's a 9.8 because that's what it was at the time of grading. It's like,
this is CGC, Megan. Nola, I'm going to send you this link if you want to jump on for just a few minutes. If you want to, it's up to you. And explain what happened. Because I think I just sent you the StreamYard link, Nola, if you want to jump on for a few minutes. Because I think that's important. Because it doesn't necessarily matter the value of the book. If you send in a book, you expect to get it back at least in the condition you sent it in. Hopefully a better grade than you were hoping for. But what do you do? What do you do with something like that? They're not going to compensate you. They can't fix that. There's no way to fix that. So what do you do?
Yeah, because like if the person who's grading it then hands it off to be slabbed and the person who's slabbing it just totally wrecks it, you think they're really going to own up to that shit and be like, hey, Fred, I know you spent a long time grading this book, but I tore out 3 of the pages on accident. Can you regrade it? Like you're gonna get ripped a new one. So what can you do? Like they're insured. Like you have the option to insure your submissions, right? So shouldn't they, instead of just giving it back to you, like give you the book back unslapped and be like, hey, here's all your money plus a refund? At least, like, how would you resolve that if you were in charge of this whole situation? How would you resolve the issue? Okay, damage has already happened, so we can't do anything about it. What would you do?
There's no way to resolve the issue. There's no true way to resolve something like that because you don't know what that person paid for the book. Okay. So whether a book is worth $500 and the person decided to pay $1,000 for it, okay, because they're like, that's what they had to do. They wanted the book, they had to pay $1,000. There's no way to really, what if they're not going to compensate? So there's absolutely no way to really.
They're not going to compensate, even though you insured it. You told them how much the value of that was.
There's a difference between what you can claim on value and what you actually paid for it. You know what I mean? There's a difference.
There's a massive difference. That's why I put the books that I have, I put them at the value that I would if I wanted to sell this book raw. I'm going to put the price of it, what it's worth to me right now, raw, on that insurance.
What's up, Nola?
What's up,
We had to bring you on because I know this has been a hot topic, and I know this is something that you wanted to talk about.
It is, and let me be real clear first. I didn't slab this book. I bought this book from another seller.
Okay.
So,
great clarification.
I've had to explain this to a few people. I don't want to make it sound like this is something that's brand new and just happened. This book was actually slabbed a couple of years ago. I bought it a few months ago. And I didn't really look at it real closely because it's a 9.8 and I saw it what it was and I was like, oh, that's awesome. So this is the story. I don't know if it's going to be able to read on here. But
I'm going to make you solo real quick, okay? There we go.
But if you see the inner well right through here, you can see that it's cracked.
Got you.
All the way across the top, so much so that there are literally pieces of it.
Yep.
That have fallen down to the bottom and they're like scattered throughout the back. So what happened is at some point, and there's no damage to the outside of the book. The slab is fine. Nothing has ever happened to this. So there's just a malfunction deterioration of the inner well, which allowed for the book to slide upward through that gap and then cause this damage on the front to pull the foil off of the front of the book. So this is my deal. I'm not actually expecting any sort of compensation or anything.
Right.
But there are people that spend, I mean, don't get me wrong. This is a good, anywhere from a $900 to a $1,500 book. There are people who put hundreds of thousands of dollars of books in these things. And if you can't count on their materials to hold up for more than a couple of years, and this happens to, I don't care if it happens to a $10 book or a $1 million book.
Right.
It's just not right.
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 Absolutely. So you bought that book from a seller.
Yep.
And didn't see the damage on it. Okay. Just want to clarify that because I think I was under the impression that you sent it in. So I'm glad that you clarified that.
Yeah, I thought you sent it in.
Yeah, that's a lot of people have thought that, and I've tried to clear that up as I went along because I don't want this to be like a, they were just idiotic and put a 9.8 on this book and then ruined it.
I think what Titan said makes sense. Return it.
What happened when I first saw it and when I got it is that it had been lodged up into that gap right here.
Yeah.
So that none of this was visible. So the guy that sold it to me, he didn't know. And by the way, the guy that sold it to me is being super fair about it. We're just going to do an exchange and I'm going to find something else that he's got and I'm going to send this back to him. So,
Perfect.
I mean, that's all super cool. I just really have an issue with, Rags and I were talking about this a little while ago, with quality control. and customer service when it comes to stuff like this. They're more than happy to take all of our money for whatever reasons, and as soon as they're done with it, they're done with it.
That's totally true, right? That is absolutely true.
So I realize this doesn't happen often. This kind of thing doesn't happen often. But, and I see it more with CGC than CBCS, in fairness, because I think that's what most people prefer to use. I'm sure CBCS has plenty of their own issues. But, you know, these things have Newton rings. They have hairs. Like Max was talking about her book from CBCS, they get labeled incorrectly. And in Max's case, so incredibly stupidly that all you have to do is look at it to know, okay, I've listed a book that is a printed cover as an art cover. I mean, I'm so frustrated by this whole process that I really just want to start some sort of forum or clearinghouse where everyone can just post pictures and books. And if you want to comment and be shitty and say terrible things, you can do that. I don't really care. But just, you know, someone needs to hold these people accountable for all of the money that we invest in them and get no return from in this case.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Nola, we're gonna select you to start a Instagram page for errors, for problems, and we'll tag CGC in all of them.
Yeah, I've been working on it for the last couple of days. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to make it work.
Yeah,
and
man,
again, I mean, bitching doesn't do anything. There's no point in sitting here and getting angry and yelling and doing all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I was pissed off when it first happened because, holy shit, it's $1,000 gone. But really, like I said, at this point, it's just about the accountability factor.
Right.
They just don't give a shit.
Well, and it's so hard to get any answers from them. I'm hearing from a lot of people in the community, you know, whether it's where's my book, or, you know, maybe you got a crack slab back and you want to send it in for, you know, a reholder, and you don't know when it's going to come back, and you've already paid and waited, or the wait times are astronomical. They say you may wait this long, but in my mind, I'm thinking, well, you got to double that, right? Because they're not really going to stick to that. You know, there's just so many broken pieces along the edges, and it's like, so is it really worth it to keep sending our books in to get slabbed? Is it truly worth it? So I pose that question.
The only reason I do it is as a reseller at times.
Yeah.
It allows me to resell a known quantity. I'm not trying to sell someone what my concept of a grade on a book is.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to having a bigger value book, I like to be able to look at them and go, look, this is what it is. I'm not trying to, you know, I don't want to be responsible for the grade. That's the only reason I do it. So,
yeah, I understand that because my grade may be different than your grade, different than the next person's. You know, we're not professional graders, and once you get it encapsulated, then there's no question. Yeah, Titan. Yeah, I still got a book there. Yep, and we don't know when it's coming back. We don't know.
They probably freaking lost it.
We don't know.
We hope not.
There's no movement on it, and it sucks. You know what I mean? It sucks when you're like, did you lose it? I don't know. What happens if you lost it? What do you do? What do you do?
And like Taylor's saying in the chat, both companies say they're hiring and they're doing everything they can, but they really need to invest in customer service. It's not
they
just
do.
About,
they need to hire some people to answer the phones and answer our questions.
So,
yep.
But that's my rant on CGC. I just shipped off 19 books, and I was going to send them to CGC the day before this happened. They are now at CBCS.
Oh, so that just completely changed your mind.
Yeah. I won't deal with CGC. I will not deal with CGC again until I hear something from them. I sent them a message on Instagram. They sent me back and said, you need to call our customer service hotline. I called their customer service hotline, talked to a woman, and tried to explain what had happened. And all she tried to do was make me feel like it was somebody else's fault or my fault. So then she sent me an email to send them pictures and videos. So I sent them pictures and videos, and I haven't heard anything since. So, like I said, it's the stumping part to me is that it's the inner well. It's not the outer well. There's no damage. It's not cracked. There's no evidence of anything being dropped on it or any of that. It literally just looks like it deteriorated somehow.
Yeah.
So,
and that book is no longer a 9.8 by any means. You know what I mean?
No longer has any value except as a collector.
Yeah. Because that book doesn't have a lot of value unless it's a 9.8.
Right.
You know? So, wow.
And the sad part, I got this as a birthday present for myself.
Aww.
And now it is no mas.
He's tossing it around. He's like, I don't even care.
I don't even care anymore. Shit. I mean, no point now.
Dang.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'll tell you what, we'll start this right now. If you guys have any stories, pictures, evidence, I don't want just hearsay and rumors and, you know, I know a guy who knows a guy. But if you've got pictures or you've got turnarounds that have taken a year and you can show that, send them to me. DM me. Send them to me and I'll start a page and we'll just start posting stuff. I have no interest in commenting on any of this. I just want you judge for yourself. You know, you make up your own mind about whatever's happening with these companies and how they treat you.
Yeah.
I am dropping, I know most of you follow Nola, but I'm going to put his info in the chat anyways. That's his Instagram right there. So if you're not following him, go ahead and give him a follow. That way you can hit him up, send your info to him. Yep. Oh, Freeze Brothers. No.
See? There you go.
Dang. I saw that post you posted earlier too. Wow.
Well,
and that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. I mean, all they had to do was take a book out and put it in a new holder, and somehow or other they managed to damage it.
Right.
They didn't even have to take it out of the inner well that it's in. I don't get it. You know, you got CBCS that has what they call a 2-day modern grading system that takes over a month.
Yeah, I don't get that. Or walkthroughs. And you're like, how long does the walkthrough take? It's supposed to take just a few hours, but it's going to take me how long? Yeah, none of that makes sense. None of it makes sense.
Like I said, I blame Jay-Z.
You blame Jay-Z. I love it.
I do.
I saw you say that.
Yeah, in the chat.
So.
Yep.
Maddie, I'm
sorry,
dude. I hate seeing these stories. I hate that it happened to me. I hate that it happens to anyone.
It's always frustrating and it makes you cringe and die a little inside whenever you even just hear stories and it's not even your books.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, like it or not, monetary is the value, but for most of us, we have an emotional investment to these books. These are books that we've been reading since we were kids or that we got super into. And we put a lot of sentimental and emotional value into this stuff. And when it gets messed up, it just hurts. It sucks.
Right. Right. It does. It does. Because, you know, go ahead, Max. I was going to say just turn your camera off. You know, you invest a lot in these books, and a lot of the times these books we buy, we are banking on them being 9.8s, right? Like, you're like, okay. Because like that book you have right there, that Gambit, that is just, if it's not a 9.8, it's just a collector's, it's just for your PC, it's something to fill your run, it's a reader book. It's not worth anything unless it's a 9.8. And there's a lot of books out there that are like that, you know, and because they could be so hard to get in a 9.8. So when you buy them and you're speculating that they're going to be a 9.8 and then something like this happens and you're like, my God, or somebody just is, I've seen so many books come back from people. Like, I don't have any specific, you know, situations off the top that I can think of. Actually, I do. Matt, his Aliens book with the greasy fingerprints. you know, and it's just the care that they're giving to these books is unreal. Like, I would just love to go into like CGC or CBCS, either one, and just watch how they do this. I feel like, to me, it's almost like somebody's just receiving these books in their garage, and, you know, they're opening it up at a fold-out table, and they're grading it, and then they're, you know, giving it to the next-door neighbor to encapsulate. The process just, I don't know. It seems kind of janky. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and that's just it. There is zero accountability and zero transparency.
Right.
We ship these books off. We never see them again through the entire process. We have no idea what's going on until we get an email that says they've moved from the warehouse to the grading, and then they've been graded and they will be getting shipped.
Look, I've sent books. Titan can contest to this. I haven't sent any books off since the beginning of last year to Titan, because I don't want to deal with the grading process. I just want my books. I want to deal with my books. I don't want to deal with grading. Those books went from received to straight shipped. There was no info in between. It just went from received to shipped. Right now, they still have a book there that's still in received. It's just received since May.
If you're not Rags,
since May.
If you're not Rags, who do you call?
If you're not Rags, who do you call? Rags, who do we call? Rags, we need that phone number. Drop it in the chat.
So, yeah, like I said, I mean, for me, the frustrating part is all about the process itself. It's just doesn't hold up. Like,
you guys, I have chosen to not send any of my books in, like any of them, until they can really get this figured out. I don't care if it's CGC or CBCS. I'm not doing it. I am not doing it.
Like I said, I've got 19 books that I already had getting pressed. I've got a few more that I've got to get pressed, and then I'm done. I won't send in any more after my next.
Yeah.
I'm done. If
I feel you, man.
If I want a slab, I'll buy a slab. I won't.
I feel you. That's kind of where I'm at with it. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
You can buy your own plastic casings.
Hey,
I've also been doing that.
some. And let me tell you.
If you're all about just preservation, you can buy your own plastic casings.
Look at these, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to do this because
I don't mean just top loaders, but like there's actual ones you can fasten them into.
No, that's what this is.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about.
You see that?
Yep.
These are UV protectant. So if you guys know, your slabs that you get, they do not protect against UV, any kind of light. They do not. This does. All right. So if you just want to be able to like throw a book up, let me move. Like I got my second print Ultimate Fallout 4 in one of these up on the wall. Hard plastic case.
And it's less, you're going to have way less stress because you're not sending it out to God knows where to be handled by God knows who. And, you know, there's less risk. You're not sending it. It's not going through the mail 2 different times.
Right.
So I know it depends on what type of collector you are or buyer.
Some people like slabs. I get that.
Yeah.
Right now, Anne, they are $10. Once I get done with my 2 cases, they will go up to 12.
There's also
you're selling them?
Yeah, we sell them in shops. So there's a guy who actually patented the design. We met him at a con like a year and a half ago or something like that. And here, let me make myself.
Do they come in different sizes?
Right now, all I have is modern. So he has more silver on order. But yeah, they're super dope. They fit in a short box as well. So you can just put them in a regular short box. You don't have to get a slab box, but they're super duper cool. There's this little hole right here. So once you put a book in, instead of like trying to like, you know, let me see. Let me get a book out, you guys. Let me get a book out. So I'm going to put a book in here so you can see it. Let me take this web out real quick. They're super cool, super dope. This is how I will be if I have books that this is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm not sending anything in to get slabbed. All right. So raw book you can put in right there, right? Raw book fits in perfectly. You can see the back. So if you have a super dope wraparound cover that you want to show off as well, same thing, right? Tabs right here, you push it open. And instead of, so it's open, right? Instead of like trying to pull at the corners to get the book out, you just push that hole right there and the book pops out. So he's super thoughtful around the design as well. It is a guy, they're called comic cloaks. A guy, I met him at a con a couple of years ago, like a year and a half ago, and he had them. And I was like, oh, I want to get some of those. And then we never went back because we just had so much stuff. And he was in New York. Now he's in Huntsville. So he commissioned, he kind of did here's two boxes of them, 2 cases, so that your customers can get used to it. Sell them at $10 a piece. And after that, they will be $12. But yeah, they're UV protectant. You see on the back, UV sunlight, LED protectant, recycled material. They're made with recyclable materials. Super cool, super dope, you guys.
Yeah, $10 a piece. She only has moderns right now. So it's like, I like this one because the hole isn't on the back or anything. It's up top. Like maybe it looks a little worse because if you don't want that to show, but like to me, I feel like that's a little bit better. And it has like magnets at the top. So they're pretty secure. You just put it in there like that. It's a similar thing, but this one's not. This one's from, what do you call it? The Ultra Top. Yeah, Ultra Pro. I think these are protected. I'm not sure. I thought this one was because otherwise I don't think I would have bought it. But
Max, I just saw your private chat message. Right now, I only have there was 2 cases of 40. So, but I can get you whatever you want. Yeah, if you guys are interested,
I wouldn't want a whole bunch, but like a few just for my. There's a few comic books that everyone has. They're just like, man, I don't want to grade it, but I want to protect it. So
if you guys are interested, hit me up for sure. Like I said, the first 2 cases that he gave me, he told me, he said, just sell them at $10. After that, we will be on a situation where we are buying them wholesale from him and then selling them. So it'll be a little bit different. So they'll be $12, $11.99. But yeah, this is what they look like. So you can throw a book on a shelf. It fits in a short box, long box, whatever. However you want to do it.
Just out of curiosity, how does that protect the corners and the edges? How does it not move? How does it not move?
Well, unless you're shaking your book, but you can still damage it if you're shaking it on a bag and board. I don't know if you can see, Let's Go Solo. It's pretty snug to the size of the book.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And it actually can fit in with a bag and board. I just like to do it without, because if you want to see the back, then you can. But it does fit with a bag and board as well.
Obviously, if you're going to be putting it up to display in a secure place, that's ideal, because it's not it's going to be rattling around.
Right. I have that Ultimate Fallout up there. It can handle square bound books too. So it does fit with a bag and board. So you can do it both ways.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
Pick one up and give it a try.
Like I said, the thing I like about them is the UV protection. UV LED sunlight, which we all know that slabs don't have that in their encasements.
Yeah.
There's also a company called Crafty Comics, CRAFTI. They're on Instagram. They have a website, but they do frames and various different ways of displaying your book if you want. They generally run about $25 to $30 a piece. Same thing, UV coated and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot of options out there.
There is
for displaying your books.
Yeah.
If you're getting them graded because you want to sell them, I get it. That's your thing. But if you're just for your PC, go with some of these other options, people. Go take care of it yourself and handle it yourself.
Perfectly said, you guys. If you're just having them for PC and you just want to display them, you want to throw a book on a shelf in a room where you might have some sunlight or whatever, you want to see it. Man, you spend $500 to $1,000 on a book for your PC. You don't want to just throw it in a short box or a long box, right? Sometimes you want to throw it up on the wall. Like it's art, you know what I mean? Yep. So there is a ton of other ways to display them. Like Nola said, there's picture frames, there's these comic cloaks, there's a ton of other ways to show them up. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't just throw that in a box. Yeah. That's that Esteban painted covers. You want to show that off. That's the point. You know, so there's tons of other ways. Hit up anybody in the comic community. I'm sure that we can direct you into different avenues on what works best for us. This is what I have right now, but Nola's got some. Max is showing some. There's other ways. Yep. Taylor, he's out of here. Paper. Did you say mache the books to the wall?
It's funny you say that. I actually took a bunch of books that I wasn't going to use for anything else and cut them all off and did a paper mache sort of collage out of all of them.
I've seen people do that. It always breaks my heart a little bit. I'm like, one day, what if that book is worth $100,000? And you're like, dang it, I cut it up. You never know.
Oh, I've seen some that I did it with that have gone up. I mean, nothing huge, but there's definitely some that have gone up to be, resellable books.
Right. Yeah.
So, well, ladies, thank y'all for having me on to vent and share my opinions. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for sharing your story.
I am dead serious about trying to create some at least accountability within the community. The companies may never listen to us, but just so people can get a feel for what they potentially are going to have to deal with. So we've all got a story or two, or hopefully some pictures. If you've got some evidence of whatever happened to your book through the grading process, I don't care what company it is, send it to them. Like I said, I'm gonna start trying to build maybe an IG page. I don't know, just for horror stories.
Right. I think if we hold them accountable and we call it out more often than not, that will be a big thing.
We need to start a movement or something.
Right.
Well,
strike.
I know of more than a few people that CGC has blocked on Instagram because they complain. I mean, this is just their level. This is just their level of not giving a shit.
Right. Yeah.
They're just like the American government, it sounds like.
It's Jay-Z, man. I'm telling you.
It's Jay-Z. I love it. All right, Nola.
Don't know Jay-Z was one of the people that bought CGC.
Yeah, I know. That's why I think it's hilarious that you keep saying it's Jay-Z. It's Jay-Z. Yep. Yeah, I know that.
Titan, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say a word. If anybody wants to post about whatever's going on, that's fine. I just want pictures. I want evidence. And
freedom of
you can
speech.
post whatever you want, and I'm just going to tag it CGC, CBCS, PGX. I don't care. I mean, these are all people that are taking your money to protect your investments and doing a fairly shitty job of it. And I won't say most of the time. I won't say 10% of the time. But even if it's 5% of the time, that's just not acceptable for stuff that we care about.
Yep. Absolutely.
Thanks, Tim.
Yes, thank you, Tim. Well, Nola, I appreciate you jumping on, and I hate that you had to jump on to share kind of a horror story, but we love having you on. It is important to know these things in the community for sure. You want to hang out, you can. If you got to jump off, we totally get it. We understand.
I don't know what else y'all talking about.
I don't know. What are we talking about, Max? I think we're about done with topics for the night.
Yeah, I was just gonna. I pushed back my schedule show.
So we're about to wrap it up, you guys. I think it's been a great conversation tonight. We've talked about the different selling platforms and problems within the grading communities, different avenues that you can take to preserve your books or display them. So we will kind of open it up to the chat for just a few minutes. If you guys have any questions that you want to pop into the chat, we'll answer those. Say give it like, I don't know, 5 minutes or so if you guys want to put anything in there. Otherwise, we're going to jump off. I know Max is going to be going live on her channel and showcasing herself doing some live art after this.
By the way, I caught Max late a couple nights ago doing an Alien cover. It's super cool to watch, guys. Y'all.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on and watch after this. I'm gonna be digging through
and
some
talk
long
about it.
boxes.
This one?
That's the one.
This
Yep.
one, yeah, where it's like half alien and half venom. So half venom, then half alien.
Yeah.
Spade,
Yeah.
hit me up. Hit me up. We'll get you on in the next.
It's okay. This is what I'm going to be working on next on the show. I'm going to be working on this Moon Knight book. So if you want to check it out, feel free to stop by. I labeled it as an Ask Me Anything so we can have chat and you guys can ask questions and stuff. Not that I have much rocking around up here, but in case you were interested in what is up there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
But, yeah.
you guys were
We can
talking
hang out
about
here for a little while more if you want, guys, because I pushed, like I said, I rescheduled it, so we're good on time.
So you guys were talking about Whatnot versus YouTube kind of earlier, right?
Mhm.
So the biggest knock that I hear about Whatnot is generally that it's dollar books and that kind of stuff that people are selling. And we all know that there's other, Davis Ryder and all them have some bigger books and they have bigger followings and all that stuff. But a lot of the auctions are, for the most part, seemingly fairly low end books that you're not going to spend more than $5, $10, $15 on. So I watched one the other day, and I believe it was Pop CC Shop.
Mhm.
And that dude literally did not sell anything, any lot that was under $100, and
Wow.
started everyone at $1 and made a shit ton of money. So Whatnot has the potential to be a great auction site if people treat sellers fairly.
Right.
If you're going to put these books up, I watched this man put up a FF48, an FF49, a ASM Newsstand 300. I picked up a Star Wars 42 off of him. I mean, these are all huge books, and Whatnot is a viable option for those kind of things. So,
Yes.
if you give it a chance and you help
Sudden
build
death.
So when I started Whatnot, I was really, because, when you're going into it and you have like 30, 40, 50 followers, you're going into it like, okay, I am going to either start the books at a price that I'm willing to let them go, 10, 15, 20 bucks, or I'm going to start them at $1 and take a loss just to get people to understand that, like, I have books and I can sell you good books. I feel like Whatnot, I've seen people sell huge books on there. I think that you just have to prepare. And I think that's what we were talking about in the beginning, is preparation is key. So there's a time limit on Whatnot. It's not like YouTube where we can decide to end or not. You know what I mean? Where if you go into multiple bidders after the 3 minutes is gone and you can keep going, Whatnot doesn't do that. Once the time's up, the time's up.
Well,
The
that's
person
sudden
pays.
death. Otherwise, it's like if you bid in the last 10 seconds, it'll add 10 seconds more.
It doesn't
but that's
matter
it.
though. Once the time's up, once that timer runs out completely, it's done.
Yeah,
It's done.
I get what
That
you mean.
person
now, yeah.
pays, you got to ship that book, right? That's it. The key to it is the preparation and showcasing yourself beforehand. You know what I mean? Letting people know what you're going to put up. Going into it, having a game plan of what kind of books you want to put up, what you're going to start them at. When I did my first couple of shows, like we were saying in the beginning, I didn't list anything. And so people didn't have a chance to see what was going up. They didn't have a chance to kind of price check things, to get prepared. You have to prepare. I mean, we prepare for YouTube. We got to prepare for Whatnot, right? You got to do it.
I think some of our YouTube auctions could really learn a lot from a Whatnot auction.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I really think the time frame needs to be a little shorter. I think it needs to be a little more strict on, almost like Whatnot does with like Mac was saying, when they add the time at the end. If we get to overtime and there's 2 people bidding, you're on a 30-second clock or you're done.
I agree with you. And I think a lot of our buyers would probably agree. I think that, sometimes you're like, okay, if me and Max are bidding on a book that you're putting up and I bid $100 and the 3-minute timer has gone off and Max doesn't bid again for another 45 seconds.
Right.
And then she comes in at 45 seconds and she bids 105. And now I'm stuck with bidding 110. And then a minute later, she bids 115.
Right.
And I'm like, Jesus, this round just went 15 minutes. There's no lag on Whatnot. There is absolutely no lag.
No. Rags, I was not a big believer in Whatnot. And then about a week or so ago, I started messing around with it and really trying to see what it was all about. It's a great format. Like I said, it's hard sometimes to find books you want to buy if you're looking for older stuff, bigger stuff.
Go to Remy's for the older and bigger stuff. Hit up Robot Monster Island.
Yeah, absolutely.
Davis Ryder's got some great books.
But like I said, once you find those guys, you follow them, and then whenever their auctions pop up, it sends you a notification on your phone. And
Yep. I saw a lot of Bronze Age stuff on there recently. Max is still the indie queen. She will kill it with the indie books. So you just have to find what you're looking for. Yeah, lag. I mean, if your Wi-Fi is slow, you'll have some lag, but that's like with anything. But honestly, there's no lag. Not like YouTube. So.
Wow. Maddie Freeze just sent me pictures of the books that he sent in and got back.
Oh, Freeze, send them to me. I want to see them. Freeze. All right, you guys. I think that we are done for the night. Thank you so much, Nola, for jumping on. We haven't got to hang out with you for a minute anyways.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen you in a stream.
Yeah.
Have you here,
I'm
man.
a wanderer nowadays. I think I'm going to be around a little more often. I'm kind of settled for a little bit.
Lisa.
I sold some stuff Thursday night. I'm going to be with Sands this week, so if you got room, maybe I'll slide in on Tuesday night.
We'll figure it out. We'll just run one minute rounds for everybody. I don't know. I'm just saying. We'll figure it out. You guys. All right. You guys rock. Thank you, Leave It to Comics. Thank you, everybody that joined. Hello, Lisa. You are jumping at the end of the show. We have been going for an hour and 20 minutes. We are about to head off. You guys make sure that you go check out Max on her channel at what time? 10:30?
It's going to start shortly after this show ends.
Okay. She's going to do some live drawing on there on her Moon Knight cover that she's working on, you guys. There's her link right there in the chat. Last one you see, that's her link.
That's the link to the actual show. So
yep, that's the link to her show. Yep. So we love you guys. We appreciate you. We are back on Fridays for My Favorite Show. Next week, we will be on Max's show. So 9 Pacific Standard Time. That is 7 o'clock Max's time on the West Coast. And for Nola, I forget, Nola's on the West side now. All right, you guys. We are out of here. We will see you on Whatnot, right? We'll see you all on Whatnot. We will see you on the YouTube auctions, however we do it. He's throwing up West Side. We love y'all, and we will see you again. Adios, my friends. Bye.
Brag's Peacemaker is hilarious.
I gotta watch it. Adios.